Hey guys, so this isn't really like my normal videos, but somebody asked me if I could go over the basics of like reading guitar music, and I figured why not? And the thing is, I'm constantly learning. I am by no means somebody who's like good at guitar, but I figured I might as well share what I know, see if it helps anybody. And as always, if any of you guys have stuff that can help out or just anything that you want to add on, feel free to comment it because I am willing to learn and I want to learn with you guys. But along with that, I do want this video to actually be helpful for you guys, so I'm going to try to link some other videos of people explaining this that are actually more helpful and actually know what they're talking about. So if this video is not helpful at all, feel free to watch those because I feel like they do a much better job of explaining it than I will. And the comment was asking for help on reading like the finger picking, which is basically just reading tabs for guitars, so I'm just gonna try my best. Okay, so to start off, if you know absolutely nothing, there's 6 strings on a guitar. When you're reading a tab, there are conveniently also 6 strings, and they line up with the strings on the guitar. So if the guitar is facing you, like you're looking down at it, the string that's closest to you is this low E, sounds like this. That's going to be the bottom string on the tab. So on the tab, the string order from bottom to top is going to be E, A, D, G, B, E. And it's a little bit confusing at first just because this low E is going to be the bottom string, even though it's the top string on the guitar when you're actually playing it, which is why it's easier to just think about it as it being the closest to you. Because if you're holding a piece of music and it has the tab written on it, the one that's at the bottom is closest to you, and that's the same as this. And most tabs will tell you the notes of each string, but if they are tuned differently, then obviously that's going to change what the notes are. And on that tab, there are going to be a lot of numbers, probably. And each of those numbers is going to align with the frets on the neck of the guitar. So if it's 0, you're not pressing anything. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up the whole thing. And whatever string it's on is going to be the string that you're pressing down on. So it's kind of like Battleship if you think about it like that, where it's like, okay, here's the coordinates. It's going to be this fret and it's going to be up to this string, and then that's the one you press. I don't know if that like overly complicates it, but if I think about it like a game, then it's more fun. I don't know if that's a silly thing to say, but if that helps anybody. So for example, with this little tab here, it's going to be the 4th fret on that D string, the 5th fret on that B string, and then the 6th fret on the G string. And then when you're playing it, you're going to play it in the order that it shows up on the tab. So for this tab, you're going to play the D string, then the G, then the B, which would just be going down in order like this. And the same thing applies to any numbers. It's just whatever number it's saying, that's the fret, and whatever string it's on, that's the string you press down on. So like this one, you can see that there's a 0 now, so you're going to let go of that string. There's not going to be anything pressing on that string, and it's going to sound like this. And if I'm being completely honest, there's no way to really know like how long to wait in between notes unless you really hear what it sounds like. Because tabs will signify when there is more of a space in between some notes, but if you don't know the song, it's hard to know like exactly how long that space is. So that's why while looking at these, it can be helpful to know what the song sounds like so you kind of know what you're trying to work for. Because if you just look at a bunch of numbers and you're just trying to go at it, you might get a little bit confused about what it's supposed to sound like. But if you know what the actual song is, then you're able to be like, oh, I hear that part, I know how to play it now, you know? Along with that, if the numbers are all stacked up, they're not in any order, they're all just on top of each other, it means you're going to play them all at once. So like with this example, the A, D, and G strings all have stuff going on at the same time, which if it's just a couple notes, then it might be easier to pluck them instead of strumming them, which would sound something like this. But you're also able to strum it, which would sound like this. Along with that, if you see 5 or 6 numbers aligned, then you can kind of connect that in your head and be like, okay, that is a full chord. I'm going to be strumming. I'm going to be going all out for that one. So for example, if there's a song and there's zeros on all of the strings except for the 3 used to play C, you would know, okay, this is the C chord. And as you learn more chords, you're able to kind of connect that and be like, okay, I see these things pressed down and I know what chord that is. And it makes it a lot easier to read them because you're able to recognize the hand shapes that you need to use in order to get to those certain chords. So even if it's not a full thing and you are still finger picking, you're able to kind of get your hand into a shape that's comfortable because it's something you already know how to play. And also you can see on the guitar there's little markers on 3, 5, 7, and 9, and then 12 gets a special one just because this is an octave up from the actual guitar. So once you start playing on here, it kind of just repeats the notes, but an octave up. But these will be helpful as you're trying to get your hands onto the correct positions because you're able to see what fret you're on without necessarily like turning the whole guitar to count up the frets. Which if you're starting off, it's fine that you kind of take a peek over and make sure your hand's in the right place. But over time, muscle memory will kind of get you to a place where you're able to just press on whatever strings and whatever frets without really having to think about it. But having those little markers across the neck, and you can see they're on the side of it so that you're able to see it when you're just looking straight down, it really helps just make sure you're staying where you need to be. And also when you're finger picking, at first it's going to be really hard. I know for a lot of people it's one of the harder parts of playing guitar when you're first starting out because it seems really overwhelming to be moving this hand, changing chords, changing strings, and then this hand is doing something completely different. It can be really overwhelming, but honestly it's one of the more fun parts of playing guitar for me. I really enjoy doing it. And just some little things before I go, I will say that when you get into more complicated stuff, if you want to get into using all of your fingers, it'll be helpful if you practice with your thumb playing those 2 top strings and then lining up your fingers with the other ones. So pointer, middle, ring, and then pinky playing the bottom 4. And it's not like that's a defined rule that you have to play like that, but if you can get into the habit of using all of your fingers on the assigned strings, then it'll make it easier if you're playing more complicated pieces because you kind of already are used to using all of your fingers, so yeah. I'm not really sure what to talk about in this video. But like I said, if you guys have any questions about anything that I said, feel free to comment them, or if you have other videos that are more helpful or anything like that, then let me know. But yeah, this is my basic starting off just reading tabs and you need to learn how to play guitar. This is the best that I can give you. I hope it was somewhat helpful, and if not, then comment and I'll try my best to fill in anything that I missed here. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.